Everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's my favorite time of the year. It's officially March Madness beginning tomorrow. So I'm going to give you my bracket picks. Literally the only reason I'm doing this is just in case, very unlikely chance, that I get this perfect bracket. And if I do get a perfect bracket, I want it uploaded on YouTube so people know I'm not lying. So without further ado, let's get into these picks. I watch college basketball all year long. I would say I know basketball more than your average fan. I mean, this is all I do all day long. Starting off in the East, UConn versus Stetson. This one's very, very obvious. UConn, many people think they're the best team, and that is because they are. This team is very, very good. I mean, I don't even know why I'm still talking about this. Stetson's got no chance in this one. UConn, big. Second game, I'm going to go with a shocker here. A lot of people are going with Florida Atlantic in this one. A lot of people because of that run they had last year in the Final Four. Something worries me about FAU. They have a lot of talent. They have played in some very close games, and when they've been big favorites this year, not only not covering, but flat out losing the game outright. So, although they have the talent, I am not impressed with Florida Atlantic. Could they go on another massive run? It's a possibility. Going up against Northwestern, I've seen Northwestern play Purdue very well. This is a good Northwestern team. Not a lot of people are picking this one. I'm going with the Northwestern Wildcats to get this upset. Coming on down, we got San Diego State taking on UAB. 12-5 upset. I don't think it's going to happen here. San Diego State, their defense is still really, really good. UAB was a bid stealer. They were not even supposed to win their conference. I just don't really see an upset here. It could happen, but I really don't see an upset here. I'm going with San Diego State. Next up, we got Auburn and Yale. This Auburn team is underseeded. As a 4 seed, they are much, much better than a 4 seed. And Yale had to get a buzzer beater to beat the Brown Bears, who were 13 and 18 in their tournament. So Yale was almost 2 seconds away from not even being in this tournament. Auburn just won the SEC coming off a big win. I think Auburn rolls in this matchup. Coming on now, we got BYU versus Duquesne. This is another place where a potential upset could occur, but I don't think it's going to happen again. BYU, they shoot the most three-pointers out of any team in the country, and if they get going on one of these days, if they get going and they're hot, they are going to be very, very tough to beat. You could just go and look at that Kansas game where they went on the road, took down Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Nobody does that. And then later in the year, went to Ames, Iowa. No one wins in Ames, Iowa. They took Iowa State down to the end. They only lost by about 6. This is a good BYU team. Duquesne, and their championship against VCU, they went like 10 minutes in the second half without scoring a basket, only ended up putting up like 60 points. I don't really think Duquesne should be at an 11 seed, so I'm going with BYU in this one. Next up, we got Illinois and Morehead State. This one should be pretty obvious. Illinois, very, very good. They're coming off a Big Ten championship appearance. Morehead State is a team I've loved all year long. Really, really good defense. But going up against Illinois, I really don't see Morehead State can make this game close. They could definitely make this game close, but I think Illinois in the end just has too much firepower and they'll move on. Coming on down, I'm going with the Drake Bulldogs. An upset over Washington State. Washington State's good. They beat Arizona twice. But this Drake team, Tucker DeVries is very, very talented. And this Drake team, they looked really, really good in their championship against Indiana State. Indiana State was robbed of the tournament, but that's for another day. This Drake team, they could make some noise. That's why I have them winning that game. And then the last game in the East region, I'm going with Iowa State over South Dakota State. South Dakota State has been here many, many times. They don't have the power this year. Iowa State's defense is legit. Iowa State, one of the best teams in the country. They're Big 12 champs. I don't think South Dakota State's going to give them any trouble. Okay, I'm now going to go into the round of 32. I just looked. My first clip was 6 minutes long, and I don't want this video to be like 25 minutes long, so I'm going to start making these picks a lot faster. UConn and Northwestern. UConn, best team in the country. They're not going to lose to Northwestern. Basically, everybody's picking UConn as their champion. They're not going to lose in the second round. No chance. Going down, San Diego State and Auburn. As I said, Auburn is underseeded. I don't see them losing to San Diego State. It should be a good game, but the way Auburn is playing right now, they're one of the hottest teams in the country. I think Auburn's got that one. This is where I might shock some people. I'm going with BYU over Illinois simply because BYU can shoot the ball extremely well. BYU lives and dies by the three. If they're making threes, they are very, very tough to beat. If they don't make threes, they're not going to win games, and that's why this is a very risky pick. But I'm banking on the fact that BYU comes out, they shoot the lights out of the basketball. I'm picking BYU to go into the Sweet 16. Coming on down, I'm going to pick Iowa State in this matchup, but Drake could definitely upset some people and win this game. I literally went back and forth on this a lot because I really do like this Drake basketball team. Really like them. But I also really like Iowa State as well. This one is the one that if Drake wins, it's going to be pretty disappointing because this is one I went back and forth on one of while. Going into the Sweet 16 now. Got UConn and Auburn. This is a potential spot where Auburn could bust a lot of people's brackets because everybody's picking UConn. I think UConn's the best team in the country. This one's going to be a very close game. I mean, UConn, they're just dominating every team this year. UConn's going to the Elite Eight. And then going down, BYU, as I said, they're really good at shooting their three ball, but now they're playing a defense that is one of the best in the country. I think Iowa State ends BYU's season right there. And into the Elite Eight, we got UConn and Iowa State. I'm going with UConn. This is the best team in college basketball, and they're going to show it here. UConn is into the Final Four. All right, I'm now headed to the West Region, North Carolina, and Wagner. This one should be pretty easy. Wagner, they did win yesterday against Howard, which was kind of an upset because Howard was favored by 3.5 points, but I still think North Carolina wins this easily. Going down, Mississippi State, Michigan State. A lot of people are saying don't bet against Tom Izzo and Marsh, but I'm going to Mississippi State. This Mississippi State team is really, really good. Michigan State, not so much. Michigan State, although they are in the tournament, I think they're one of the weaker teams in the tournament. I know that's probably going against what a lot of people are saying, but Mississippi State went, and they beat Tennessee twice on the year, which Tennessee's a number 2 seed, and Mississippi State beat them handily both times, one of which was only coming like 2 weeks ago in the SEC tournament. So I like this Mississippi State team. I don't think we're going to see an upset here. Mississippi State into the second round. Another 12 versus 5 matchup. This is another place where I think a lot of people are going to be picking Grand Canyon, but I'm going to go with the St. Mary Gales. I watch Grand Canyon all year long, and they are a very, very good team. I think they have like 29 wins or something on the year. 29-4. St. Mary's, their defense is really good. At one point, St. Mary's was the hottest team in the country. They had 15 straight wins. Then they ended up losing to Gonzaga at home, which was just shocking. But in the WCC tournament, they beat Gonzaga, and they were the WCC champs. I think St. Mary's is a really, really solid team. They killed me last year. I picked VCU to beat them. They didn't. So this year, I'm going the other way. I'm going to say St. Mary's wins this one. A lot of people, though, think that Grand Canyon game. Grand Canyon's a really good team, don't get me wrong, but I think St. Mary's going to win that game. Alabama versus Charleston. I'm going to go with Bama. I don't think Bama's all that great because they have no defense whatsoever. Charleston is a 13 seed. That's intriguing. Charleston has been in this tournament a lot, but I'm going with Bama. I'm not going to get cute or anything. Bama is by far the better offensive team. Actually, you know what? Charleston's offense is not too bad at all. You can look at the stats right there. 80 points a game for Charleston. This could be a potential upset because Alabama's defense, as I said, gives up 80 points. But Alabama's offense is just superior. They average 90 points a game, and they're going to beat Charleston in this one. This is where I'm finally going with an 11-6 upset. New Mexico over Clemson, out of the Mountain West. I really like this New Mexico team, and I think they honestly can make a very, very deep run. This is going to be one of my big upsets. New Mexico over the Clemson Tigers in an 11-6 matchup. Going down, we got Baylor and Colgate. Baylor's going to win this game. I don't have a lot of confidence in Baylor, but they are superior to Colgate. Colgate gets in a lot, but they've never done anything because they're coming out of the Patriot League, very weak league. I think Baylor rolls in that one. Dayton and Nevada going with another upset pick. I'm going with the Nevada Wolfpack. It's interesting to note this game will be played in Salt Lake City, so altitude is a thing. Nevada plays in altitude. They're over 3,000 feet. Dayton coming out of Ohio. I think Nevada's going to win that game. I think all the Mountain West teams seem to be underseeded, and I just really haven't been confident in Dayton all year long. I'm going with the Wolfpack. Then this one, how about this? Arizona, the Wildcats. They lost to a 15 seed last year in Princeton. They're not going to this year, but how about Long Beach State? Their coach was fired. He's still coaching, so that's a great story. But I think that story is going to end. I think Arizona is going to win. North Carolina, Mississippi State. I've seen some people pick Mississippi State to win this game, but I really do think North Carolina is the superior team. Mississippi State could give them trouble, but I think North Carolina is going to win that game. I'm nervous about that game, though. St. Mary's, Alabama. I'm going with St. Mary's in this one. As I said, Alabama has no defense whatsoever. None. And St. Mary's has a very, very good defense. I mean, you look at the stats. Look at this. 58 points a game. Alabama does put up 90. But they give up 80 points a game. So I think, Alabama cannot have their offense carry them. And if they're going up against this good of a defense, St. Mary's only has to score probably 65 points with that defense to win that game. With the way Alabama's defense is playing, they ain't going to hold a team to 65 points. I'm going with St. Mary's in this one. This is a huge upset. Give me the Lobos of New Mexico to take down the Baylor Bears. As I said, I think New Mexico can make a long run. They got a really, really good team. New Mexico into the Sweet 16. I went down to the final game in the round of 32, Nevada and Arizona. I'm going with Arizona. I think Arizona is a very, very good team. Nevada is as well. I'm going to go with Arizona in this one. Coming to the Sweet 16, North Carolina and St. Mary's. This one's going to be a great, great game, but I'm going to say North Carolina continues. I mean, they've been number one basically all year long. This is a good North Carolina team. I don't know. I really wanted to pick St. Mary's in this one, but at the same time, I feel like St. Mary's is going to go out in the first round, and then my bracket will be destroyed. So I'm just going to play it safe. I'm going to go with North Carolina. I think they do have the better team, and I think they're going to win this game. New Mexico and Arizona. New Mexico's had a great run, but this Arizona team, if they're playing well, Arizona's impossible to stop. Impossible. They are way too talented. That's the problem, though. If Arizona's not playing well, they could get upset in like the second round, and then my bracket's destroyed. But I'm banking on the fact they will play well. And now, who's going to join UConn in the Final Four? I'm going with an upset. I'm going with Arizona to beat North Carolina simply because I really do like this Arizona team. And the championship is in Phoenix, so it is in Arizona's backyard. I think Arizona's going to be motivated to get there. I think Arizona's going to win that game and join UConn in the Final Four. All right, I'm going speed round now. South Houston is going to beat Longwood. Don't even worry about it. No chance Longwood's going to win. Although Longwood did dominate UNC Asheville in the Big South title game. But this Houston team, their defense is too good, man. Houston, come on. Don't even think about it. Just pick Houston. Nebraska, Texas A&M. A lot of people are taking the Aggies. In fact, I've seen some people take Texas A&M to win this game and then beat Houston. I don't even think Texas A&M is going to make it out of the first round. I really like this Nebraska team. They got a guy. I don't know his name. It's very confusing. Keisei Tamananga. Great player. They've beat Purdue, beat Wisconsin, who's a 5 seed. I mean, watch out for this Nebraska team. I think they could potentially give Houston a run for their money in the second round. But as for now, first round, they're going to beat Texas A&M. Upset the JMU Dukes. Although I was very impressed with Wisconsin, this James Madison team has been a great team. I mean, they're 30-3. This James Madison team is extremely, extremely talented. There's a reason they're 31-3. I mean, they took down Michigan State at the beginning of the year. I mean, just have to look at this. 84 points a game. They only give up 69, ranked 46th in the BPI. Wisconsin is 19, but there's going to be upsets in this tournament, and I think James Madison is definitely one that could happen. Going down Duke and Vermont, I don't have any confidence in Vermont. They always get to this spot basically because they play in a league where nobody else challenges them, and they never end up winning. Duke's a good team. Duke's not going to lose to Vermont. Upset number 2 in this round, I'm going with the NC State Wolfpack. Just went through a historic 5 wins in 5 days in the ACC tournament. Extraordinarily impressive. I think they're going to keep that momentum going. You have to remember, in March, teams that go the furthest come in with a lot of momentum, and NC State is rolling. And fatigue could be a little bit of an issue, which scares me, but right now, I'm going with NC State, going down Kentucky and Oakland. This Kentucky team is elite offensively. The real question is their defense going to step up? If their defense does step up, this Kentucky team's a Final Four team. They're not going to lose to Oakland in the first round. Next up, we got Florida versus Boise State and Colorado. At the time I'm filming this, Boise State and Colorado have not yet tipped off, but I don't think it's going to matter. This Florida team, I've loved this Florida team all year long, and I think they can go a long, long way. However, with that being said, they did just have a major injury, which could definitely affect them, but I don't think they're going to lose in the first round. Going with Florida. And then Marquette, they're not going to lose to Western Kentucky. I mean, they've been dominant even without Tyler Kolek. He might not even play this game. I still don't think it matters. I think Western Kentucky's going to win that. No. I think Western Kentucky's going to lose that. Man, I almost messed that up. I think Marquette's going to win that pretty handily, going to the round of 32. Houston, defense wins championships. I am scared of their offense, however. I still think Houston's going to get it done. And how about it? James Madison continues their winning ways. They upset number 4 Duke. I love this James Madison team, and I do think they have the skill level. Defense is great. Offense is great. They have the skill level to get in the Sweet 16. Continuing to go down Kentucky, their offense is just going to be too much for NC State. NC State's eventually going to get fatigued, and when they meet up with Kentucky, Kentucky's just going to be dominant. Their offense is just too much for NC State. Give me Kentucky. Florida, Marquette. I really debated putting Florida to win. Honestly, at the time of this video, I'm still debating it, but I'm just going to go with Marquette right now because I know how good Marquette is. But definitely don't be surprised if Florida wins that game. Going into the Sweet 16, James Madison runs finally going to end. Houston wins it over James Madison, Kentucky, and Marquette. I love this Kentucky team. I love their offense. It's just a matter of if their defense is going to come to play. I think it's going to in this tournament. Who's going to the Final Four? Upset. I'm going with the Kentucky Wildcats. And this is finally where I say Houston's offense is going to be a problem. I mean, you can hold teams to like 50 points a game, but if you're not scoring, it doesn't matter. And this Kentucky team is really, really good offensively. I think Kentucky makes it into the Final Four. Last but not least, it's the Midwest region. If you didn't think I had enough upsets, well, get ready for this. It is about to be pandemonium in the Midwest region. Purdue taking on Montana State or Grambling. I think Montana State wins that first matchup, coming in with a lot of momentum. Big Sky tournament. Beat the Grizz, which makes me sad as a Grizz fan, but I'm going to go with Purdue. They said it on ESPN a lot. Purdue's the only team you have to change your game plan around, and that is why they are so good. Zach Edey's the best player in the country. Purdue does have a history of losing these games. I mean, they've lost what? North Texas was a 13 seed. St. Peter's was a 15 seed. Fairleigh Dickinson was a 16 seed. So this Purdue team has a reputation of struggling in these situations, but I really don't think this is going to be the year. Their offense is far and away better than it was last year with Zach Edey, and then he can kick it out to those Purdue shooters. One of the best offenses. Purdue's going to win that one handily. TCU over Utah State. Great story with Utah State, but I think this TCU team is very, very dangerous if they get going, and I would definitely watch out if I were Purdue. But TCU, going to go with a 9-8 upset, and this is where it gets to pandemonium. McNeese State over the Gonzaga Bulldogs. McNeese State is 30-3 on the year. Gonzaga started to play really, really well, but this McNeese State team, they are something else. I mean, you look at the defense, 61 points for McNeese State. They give up only 61. That's very, very good. They score 80 points a game as well. Gonzaga does score 84 points a game, but man, this McNeese State team is really, really good. I'm going to go with an upset. I'm going to say McNeese State, and the upsets will not stop. The Samford Bulldogs over Kansas. I like Samford when this matchup came out, and if you haven't heard the news, Kevin McCullough is not playing for the Jayhawks this tournament, which is very sad for Kansas fans, but it just gives you another reason to pick Samford. Hunter Dickinson will probably be back, and that's really good for Kansas. But Kansas, the main story all year long has been they have no depth whatsoever, and it's really going to hurt them today. Samford, the Bulldogs, you better believe it, 86 points a game. And if you didn't know, this game is also at altitude, so Kansas, who's dealing with a lot of injuries, don't sub in a lot of people playing at altitude where you get tired out. Samford has a lot of depth. I mean, this might be the best lock. If you want an underdog, this is exactly who to pick. Give me Samford. Continuing at the upsets, I'm going with Oregon. South Carolina is another team I thought was really, really good all year long. Great season. But Oregon now, they are healthy with N'Faly Dante, who just absolutely dominated in the Pac-12 tournament. I think Oregon keeps it rolling. Dana Altman has never lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament through 7 times. He's going to continue that train. Oregon moves on to the round of 32. Going to take a pause on the upsets. Akron and Creighton. Creighton, extremely, extremely talented. I don't think this one's going to be much of a battle. I'm going with Creighton. Another upset, Colorado State over Texas. Colorado State looked very, very impressive over Virginia last night, which honestly makes me wonder why Virginia was even in. Indiana State, like I said, was robbed. Virginia put up like 40 points. Colorado State, though, they are a very, very good team. I do think they have a really good chance of beating Texas. Going down, St. Peter's and Tennessee. This is not the same St. Peter's team of the past. They are nowhere near as talented. You already know people are going to pick St. Peter's because of what they saw in the past. This is not the past. Tennessee's one of the best teams in the country with Dalton Connect. Great offensively, great defensively. No chance for St. Peter's in this one. No chance. All right, now to the round of 32. I find it interesting how I have the 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 seed all in it. Like I said, though, it was going to get pandemonium in the Midwest. Purdue, I think this could be fine. I think this finally could be Purdue's year where they go out on top. Zach Edey's final run at Purdue. TCU could give them trouble, but ultimately I think Purdue's going to win that game. McNeese State versus Samford. McNeese State, great offensively, but their defense is really what's great. When you have a great offense and a great defense, you are going to be very, very tough to beat. I'm going to say McNeese State's going to get to the Sweet 16 over Samford. Oregon and Creighton, I really like this Creighton team a lot. I think they take down the Ducks. And last but not least, Colorado State and Tennessee. I really want to pick Colorado State to just go absolutely crazy in this bracket, but I'm going to go with Tennessee. Colorado State, though, do not be surprised if they win that game. Now we're into the Sweet 16, Purdue and McNeese State. I'm going to go with Purdue. McNeese State's run will finally end just because Zach Edey's just too good, man. He is way too talented. Purdue's going to get to the Elite Eight. Creighton versus Tennessee. I'm going with an upset. I'm going with the Creighton Blue Jays over the Purdue Boilermakers. And then in the Elite Eight, I'm going to go with Purdue. Now we got UConn and Arizona, Kentucky and Purdue. I've gone back and forth on this one. UConn's just too talented, man. Way too talented. I mean, there's a reason everybody's picking them to win the national championship. I mean, they are by far and away the best team in the country. I think I've said that about 10 times this video, but it's the truth. Kentucky and Purdue, this is where I really, I don't know. I keep going back and forth between Kentucky and Purdue on this one. I think either one of these teams could win this game. Oh, man, who is it going to be? I'm going with Kentucky. No, I'm scared about this matchup. I'm going with Purdue. I'm just going to go with Purdue. UConn's going to be the national champion. Everybody's picking it. Two really good offenses, so I'll go with a game like 160 or whatever. And that's it. That is my bracket picks for 2024. I can't wait to look back on this and see how completely wrong I was. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this helped make your bracket picks. And I'll see you in the next video. UConn will be cutting down the nets once again as your 2024 national champs.